Tracy Wolff, have you ever seen a flying saucer, and do you believe in them?
I absolutely positively believe in flying saucers, and I have never seen one, but I'm not discounting the chance that one day I might.
And then you're going to write a book about probably a romance between an Earthling and an alien, and it'll be
maybe. I actually have a YA or a middle grade that I was actually before I started on Crave, and so it's kind of been tabled for now. A middle grade that I call Calico Jack and the Amazing Mostly True Tales from the Andromeda Galaxy, and he is a middle grade space pirate. And one day I would really, really love to write that series, and we'll see if that ever happens. But yeah, I love outer space. I never wanted to go.
Cool.
Like, I'm too much of a chicken. But oh, hi, kitty.
That's Mabel. Mabel always makes a guest appearance.
Right. Yeah, my dog is locked out of the room at the moment. But because she will just come climb right on the laptop. She thinks she's a lap dog, and she's actually like a 60-pound Kelpie. So.
I used to lock her up before not lock her up, but put her in a in the room with her cat box, her toys, her food. She's fine, esteemed audience. But esteemed audience looks forward to seeing her, so now I just let her run around.
Yeah,
I'll get her cameo in. Tracy, I've enjoyed talking to you, and I know I've run right through our time. So I'm going to end with this, because I always end with some variation of this final question, because it's a good way to catch all the things I might have gotten you to say if I'd just been smart enough to ask better questions. But my last question is always some variation of, if you could go back, 2006, 2005, when you're really getting cooking on starting to write. And give yourself some advice that would have made a significant amount of difference and maybe make things easier for you, or maybe several pieces of advice. What would you go back and tell yourself, and what would you want all the potential authors listening now to know?
I think I said it actually already early on in the show, that it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You feel like, I think you spend so much time like thinking about writing your first book and then getting your first book published, like getting the agent, like all of those things that when it happens, or at least for me, I wanted to like race, you know what I mean? I'm like, well, I want to get another contract. I want to, you know, I was writing for Harlequin and Penguin at the time, and I wanted to do that, and I wanted to just keep publishing books, and I wanted to write a lot of different things and all of that. And I think that my advice is explore everything you want to write. But I think that there's time too. You know what I mean? I think that sometimes that my career might have been less rocky. I mean, I've had a really beautiful career, and I'm very grateful for it, and I'm very proud of it. But I also kind of deviated very quickly at the beginning. I was writing sweet romances for Harlequin and super sexy romances for Penguin, and your audiences didn't cross over. So I didn't know, and I was so new to the business, I didn't understand that what I really needed to work on was building an audience that would you know what I mean, follow me, then like really get them cemented here. And I think that don't rush. Understand that it's a marathon. Understand that there are going to be ups and downs. There are going to be years where things are going really well, and there are going to be years where things are going really badly. That is the nature of the business and the nature of the career that you have chosen, I think, as a novelist. And I think that anybody who's been in this business long enough figures that out. You know, I had done a virtual book signing for Mysterious Galaxy several weeks ago, and they were my hometown San Diego bookstore many, many moons ago. So it's always a thrill for me to sign there. And so anyway, they had talked about, she'd been looking back at the first time I'd signed for them. It was on a book that had come out in 2011. And she was like, you know, I realized there aren't a ton of authors who've been doing that, you know, doing this consistently for as many years as you have. I mean, obviously there are very big names who were doing it consistently, but for most of my career, so not all of it, but for a significant portion of my career, I've been pretty solid mid-list, right? And it's just always been putting one foot in front of the other, and all of that, knowing that you never know what book's going to be Crave, or what book is going to, you know, be in the case of 2015, it was Ethan Frost and a book called Drive Me Crazy, which was the sequel to Crash Into Me, which I think you had asked about originally in questions. that had first put me on the list and really helped me build a very broad audience. And I think that if I had given up early, my first book came out in 2008. So I think if I'd given up before I ever got to 2015, if I hadn't kept writing that next book and trying that next thing and understanding that it wasn't an overnight success, that I think I never would have gotten there. You know what I mean? So I say just understand that if this is the career you want. Oh, and I'm sorry, I'm just gonna one more piece of advice I got.
We can't get
Do you know Jonathan Mayberry?
Yes.
He is a brilliant and amazing and lovely human being. And I met him many years ago at a conference for the first time. And he was talking about the fact that you could be a working writer and you could support yourself as a working writer without being a massive bestseller, but you had to be open. You know, you couldn't be, I only want to write this project. I only want to do this thing. And then not very long ago, a couple weeks ago, I was being interviewed by somebody I've known in the industry a very long time by the name of Molly O'Keefe. And she said, your career has kind of been, she says, for a long time, you know, she says, all of us are thrilled to see how well Crave is doing. You know, you were for a long time the hardest working woman, we used to say, and whatever. And I said, well, I don't know if that's true. She says, but, you know, she'd gone on, she said, you know, your career's always been about, like, the power of saying yes. Like, oh, sure, you know, you build, you know, I'm blessed. I've worked with really lovely people who have taken really good care of me, including the publisher that I'm with now, Liz Pelletier, who was the publisher for me way back when with Crash Into Me and Drive Me Crazy, the first book to get me on a list. And so anyway, I've been really lucky to surround myself with really great people who have been wonderful to me. But also when they do something like say, hey, I really want to bring vampires back. What do you think about that? I think I've got this great vampire idea. Why don't we try it? You know? So I think you have to be open. You have to understand if you want to be in it for the long haul, you got to be open. You got to adjust. You got to pivot, and just hang on there because good things are coming. You just gotta work for them and wait for them and be lucky. It's all right. It's a little bit of everything. That's my advice. It's kind of convoluted and whatever, but that's my advice. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So just remember that.